my primary comment is I agree.
Okay, sit down.
Yes. Just thinking about, the time and space ideas that Dr. Adams put forth and thinking about what Father Davis was talking about with his own experience there, working on building the Catholic culture. Thinking about when I teach classes with principals, I say, like a lot of this, talk to each other, get ideas from each other. And one of the great things that Father S is doing here is getting you guys together so you have links and say, hey, what do you do in your school? What do you do in your school? What are some ideas you have for creating more of a space that looks Catholic, for using the liturgical year, for creating that sense of culture? So, I agree with everything, but that's one thing to add. And then the gospel spirit, yeah, absolutely. Like, we have to practice charity. When Dr. Adams points out the kind of big problem that we're going against, this denial of original sin, the denial of the need for faith, and then its consequence in the kind of specialization of education. The name that comes to mind for me, I do think Dewey is a big one, but the real big daddy of them all is Rousseau. And Rousseau is the one that really sets on fire this radicalization of a celebration of man going back to nature who isn't subject to original sin, right? The thing that's bad for man is society itself, corrupts man, but it's not original sin. And whew, does he go off the rails? And, weirdly, or maybe absolutely necessarily, he ends up writing a book on education, right? Called Emile, which is the first tract on homeschooling in a way. Well, it's still a little tutorial, but it really sets you down the path. But it does lead to another question about homeschooling, whether or not it is, in the words of Pius XI, pedagogic naturalism. Father mentioned Divini Ilias Magistri yesterday. Pius hit it 100 years ago. Every form of pedagogic naturalism, this is Divini Ilias Magistri, part 60, which in any way excludes or weakens supernatural Christian formation in the teaching of youth, is false. Every method of education founded wholly or in part on the denial or forgetfulness of original sin and grace, and relying on the soul powers of human nature, is unsound. This is the Pope's magisterial teaching here, on education. Such, generally speaking, are those modern systems bearing various names which appeal to a pretended self-government and unrestrained freedom on the part of the child, and which diminish or even suppress the teacher's authority and action, attributing to the child exclusive primacy of initiative and activity independent of any higher law, natural, divine, and work of education. We read that paragraph over and over, and it's it, he hit it, he knew it. He saw that wave of Rousseau that had been building for over 100 years. Yes, guys like Dewey, drank the Rousseau Kool-Aid too. But the Pope says no to that. And it's still, I think Dr. Adams is absolutely right. It's just there over and over and over again. And the last thing I would say that she's absolutely right on is this kind of wild, the latest educational theory. We're going to set everything. And she's absolutely right. I've been teaching for over 25 years, and it's the new and improved, You got to do this, got to do that. Which is why I teach at a classical school, where we try to find things that have been good all